Okay, so we are back over here at Teespring working with this design that we just created, and now we need to get this design live on Teespring. So at this point, we've selected that we're going to go with a basic tee for this, a basic t-shirt. And if you were to scroll down here, you could choose if you wanted to go with a hoodie sweatshirt. Hoodie sweatshirts are always really popular as well. It's a design that a lot of people love and seem to go with also. But we're going to go with a basic tee here. And what we want to do is scroll on down to the next step here. And what this price here, that'll tell you the price depending on what design you choose, what your base cost is. And we'll get into that in the next step here. So we're going to click next step and we're going to select a goal for our campaign. So for this one, when you're starting out, a good goal is usually to go between 25 and 50 shirts. But what you're going to see here is that your profit per shirt will actually drop as the amount of shirts that you're looking for goes down. So for example, let's say that we want to price our shirt at the price of $18.95. It seems to be a pretty good going rate for a custom type shirt like this. So let's go ahead and just drop that down, and you'll notice what our profit does right down here. So watch here as I drag over here. So we want to go to 25 shirts. I could also just type that in, and you'll notice that it drops my profit to $9.10 per shirt. And if I had 50 shirts, it would be $10. So I lose 90 cents profit per shirt based on what my sale goal is. Now, the difference is, though, if you have too high of a sales goal, it may discourage people right out of the gate from actually buying your shirt. It's not saying that it will, but it's just kind of an idea. If you started out and said, before this design's even printed, we're going to have 100 shirts sold, or 400 or 500 shirts, and that might discourage people out of the gate. So for this example, we're going to just say, hey, we're going to make this a small number. So we're going to actually say we just need to only sell 25 shirts. Or you could even say 20 shirts, depending on what that does. And that actually makes 40 cents per shirt difference on your revenue. So that's up to you. So I like to go between 20 and 50 shirts when you're first starting out. So the next thing you want to do is choose the different products that you want to offer. So there's a couple things you can do right here. Is we can pick what color we would like to go with. So I kind of like this in a silver shirt. I think it looks really clean that way. And the next thing we want to do is come on down here. That's going to be what the design shows. So you could pick your different colors here. This yellow, that's also not a bad shirt design. That one is pretty nice as well. This blue one's a nice color. The design may not show up the best on it. The brown one actually looks really good too. So we could go that. Here's kind of a tan colored shirt. That one looks sharp. Or the silver. So I think we'll go with probably let's go with this silver colored shirt. And then we could also add a long sleeve t-shirt to it if we wanted to. And another thing we could add is a hoodie sweatshirt. Hoodie sweatshirts are always popular as well. And you can pick your price point here. So we want to say, let's say that we want to go a price point on a long sleeve t-shirt. Yeah, let's go $24.95 for a long sleeve shirt. And then for a sweatshirt, let's drop it to $34.95. And what that does is that actually plays with your profit there. So maybe we want to go up to $39.95. And so it's just a matter of kind of going, and you'll see what it does to your profit so you know what you're going to make per shirt that's sold. So right here, my estimated profit for this campaign, if 20 shirts sell, it's going to be between $170 and $344. The reason they don't know for sure is because your t-shirts are $850 profit, your long sleeve tees are $1270 profit, and then your hooded sweatshirts are $1721. Now, just for confusion's sake though, I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of the long sleeve tee, and we're going to just give them a choice between the t-shirt and the hoodie. And we can kind of pick which color hoodie we would like to go with. So I'm going to go with like a sport gray. I think that looks pretty sharp. We could go, there's some different color options there. And I think though we should probably stick with that sport gray. That's probably going to look the best. And let's see here. I really think that, yeah, that gray shirt's probably going to be the best one. So we got a t-shirt and a sweatshirt now. You'll notice your profit shows up here. It's very simple for you to determine. You of course could play around with this and decide that, wow, I'm feel ambitious, so I'm going to go with 100 shirts. But if you're brand new, I wouldn't go more than 50 shirts, and we're going to go back to 20 shirts. And because it really isn't that big of a difference, and you want to make sure your first campaign goes. You could even go all the way back to 5, but you notice it really kind of plays right into your profit margins when you do that. So we're going to go with just a basic goal again of 20. Click on the next step. They make it super simple for you. The next thing that you're going to do here is put in a campaign title. So for this one, I like to do something. You want to do something that's catchy. So sometimes you could ask a question. So are you, for example, are you a proud fan of the Seattle Seahawks? If that was kind of a t-shirt theme you were doing. Do you love your wife? Or, I love my wife. She lets me fish. I love my wife. She lets me golf. I love my wife. She lets me watch football. So you could come up with different things. This shirt could actually be easily scaled into many different designs. I love my wife. She lets me hunt. And so then you're able to go after the hunting niche market, the bowling niche market. I love my wife. I love my wife. She lets me bowl. So you could go after bowling, golf, disc golf, hockey, football, whatever sport, soccer, whatever sport you could really target and go after that outdoor type activity, whether it's backpacking or camping or hiking. You could really just kind of run the gamut there and go after all these. And so this is a perfect example of a scalable design. So what we're going to do next here is kind of copy in here. Let's see, this is a limited edition. This is a limited edition shirt, so act fast. Other colors available. Pick your favorite. Let's see. And actually, let's just take off the other colors available for now. This is a limited edition run, so act fast. I love it when my wife lets me fish. We accept PayPal and all major credit cards. Let's see. And you don't need to do much more. The we accept PayPal and all major credit cards is a good thing to add. Also, adding what the shirt says is another important thing to add because it gets people to see that. Letting them know it's a limited edition run, that's easy enough. And you don't really need to do a whole lot with it. You could also tag your campaign. I would recommend tagging it as you post it. So we're going to tag it with fishing, fish, let's see, wife, love, and so we'll tag it with those phrases there. So your campaign length, when you're starting out, 12 days is probably a pretty good idea. 12 to 19 days, somewhere in there. You could go longer, could go less. They give you these options here. Generally, if you're brand new, you might want to go for a longer time because it's going to take you a little more time to get that traffic. But we'll go ahead and we'll start with 12 days here. And then if you do 12 days here, that's going to help this shirt in November 20th, for example. And on November 20th, you still have 10 to 14 days. That means people would still get it before Christmas. And they do a really good job of telling you when that end day is. And so you could actually put a note in here. Search will arrive just in time for Christmas. So actually, that's a really good note. Since we're doing this right around Christmas, it just so happens. So we're going to go with 19 days. Decided not to do 12. We're going to go 19 days. So you can pick your campaign length. I would go between 12, 19 days, somewhere in there when you're starting out. And actually, I talked myself into going with 12 days. You can play around with it. Depends on every campaign, what's going to be best for you. Usually 2 weeks is pretty good. Beyond that, you might get distracted. It might discourage people from buying at the beginning because it's going to take so long. Towards the end, they might buy because it's towards the end. Next thing you want to do is go here to Teespring where it says teespring.com. It's going to help you choose your URL. So this is where you would plug in. I would say my wife lets me fish. So you could come up with a URL. This is the URL that people are going to use when they share it on Facebook, on Twitter, and so you can plug that in. So I would take something that's taken from your shirt design. This one looks like it's already taken. So let's go. I love it when my wife lets me fish. Oop, that's too long. Let's see. Wife lets me fish. All right. Wife lets me fish. I love her. All right. So show the back side by default. That's if you add a design on the back, so you can ignore that. Shipping options, you're not going to check that because you don't want to handle the shirts. You don't want the shirts to be sent to you and then people pick it up. That's only if you were doing something like locally through your work. Then you'll want to read the terms and conditions, select that you've read that, and then launch your campaign. So it's going to say saving your design. And now your design is actually live here. So congratulations, you launched a new campaign at teespring.com/wife lets me fish. I love her. So we're going to click on this here. Click on that link. That's now our official link. And you can copy that URL. And now that's the link that you could post on Facebook, you could post on Twitter, and you could get exposure for your shirt design.